Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday Talks with Tabitha, and I'm super excited to be here this evening with you guys. We're going to talk all about getting your house ready to sell. And if you come on here, tell me what you're doing this Tuesday evening and tell me hello. Tell me what you guys are doing. Hello, Cindy. I see somebody on here. Yay! I'm live. Okay, I can get started. I am super excited to talk about this subject. I am getting tons of people asking me about selling their houses. I think with the market being so hot and all the things, people are like, woohoo, we're ready to sell our house, or at least potentially look at that. And I think people are asking us all different types of questions about selling maybe potential grandmother's houses or aunts and uncles' houses that they've inherited, all these different things. So they're like, what do you think about all this? Hi, Joan. Hi, Kay. Come on here and say hello. I'm super excited to see you guys tonight. I thought, what a better way to do this is just to do this on a live, because there's so many of you guys asking this. So one thing I want to tell you is I'm going to go over some different steps and different things that I recommend you to do when you're going to put your house on the market. Some of the things that I want you to do before you put it on the market. And if I don't answer all your questions, then come down here below, right below us here, and tell me what you're wanting to hear more of so that I can get all your questions answered tonight. And hopefully, if there's a lot of questions, then I'll go back and do another live for you guys. Okay, I'm super excited to get ready. These questions are things that I honestly think about when I'm going through and we're talking to people about selling their houses, because like I said, the market is super hot. So this is the first one. List your home with the right price. And I think a lot of people are talking about this because the market is so hot. They're like, houses are just selling for so much more, and they're just getting so much more for their houses. And that is true. Their houses are selling for more. And I think the market is hot. Who knows how long that will last? But this is amazing. I think it's great, especially if you're wanting to relocate. This is a great time to sell your house. If you're wanting to sell your home and downsize, hey, you're in the right part, because this is a perfect time for you to sell your home and get more cash out of that. But let's be honest, if you're wanting to sell your house and you're potentially wanting to buy more or equal to the same house, this is kind of the trickier part, because people are all saying, well, houses are selling for more and I can go and get more out of my home, and then we can go buy. But you got to remember, if you're going to go buy another house at the same or equal to it, you're going to be paying more. So it's just basically a trade-off. So you have to keep that in mind. And I really want to stress that, because if you're going to be paying more for these homes, and especially if they don't price out, then lenders are not going to lend on those homes. So you're going to have to come up with and free up that cash somewhere else. And people are not seeing that. And then they come back and they're like, well, we have to come up with 20,000 or 30,000 or 15 or whatever it may be that you have to come up with. So I really, really stress that to people, because people are, just because you want that out of your house doesn't mean that you're going to get that out of your house. Okay. So that's the first thing, is list your home for the right price. That is so important, especially if you're really needing to get out of your home. That is so important to get the right price out of it. So that kind of goes along with the second one. Work with top realtors. Now, I really want to say this because I'm really good friends with being in this being in this industry as I am. This is one of my subjects that I love. I love real estate. I love all the people that do it. Most of them are very professional. They all have their places. But I think a lot of people have this thought that all realtors are the same, and that is not true at all. A lot of them have their niche. They have this thing where they all do certain different things. Some have some of them sell lower income homes, or more affordable homes is what I like to say. Some do a moderate type home, and then some do luxury homes. They all have their things that they're specialized in. So it's really important to know wherever you're trying to buy. Some even do foreclosure homes. Some even do all different types of places where they're at. So when you're buying your home, when you're trying to sell your home, it's really important that you're working with the right realtor on that, because a lot of us just think, oh, just pick one, they'll be right. And that's not true at all. I work with a lot of people on this, and they'll say, Tabitha, which one do I pick? Well, really, it depends on your house and what price range you're at, and who is really good at that price range, and all the different things, and where you're buying at, and all those things. So I hope that's helpful to you, because not all the realtors do all the same things, if that makes sense to you. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you guys. Thanks, guys, coming on here. This is exciting. There's a bunch of you guys. Okay. Taking a professional picture makes a huge difference. Now, I really want to talk about this, guys, because I will tell you, if you're in my elegant community, if you even remotely even kind of come on any of my lives, or you do any of this stuff, you are going to hear me say this more than once. Taking a picture is so important, because where we sell houses is completely different than what we used to sell houses. How we used to sell them are completely different. You know, back in the day when Jason and I first got married and we were looking for our very first home, I remember taking out we'd get the newspaper, and we would take out the Sunday paper, and we would go through the Sunday paper, and we would look at the houses that were in our price range and which ones were going to be open on Sunday, and then we would go through the houses and we'd tour them like that. Those days are long gone now. Where people sell their house are social medias, hands down. I mean, people will go through social medias. There's realtor.com. Everything is online. So if you are thinking that all you have to do is just clean up your house one time, and that's it, that's all you have to do when they come, that is not true, my friend. You have to definitely make sure that you take really good photos. And I can't stress this enough. Everything that you do and everything that you're going to sell from outside in, you're going to take really good photos. So a lot of you, I don't have to take the professional photos to sell a house now. Jason and I don't, but I've been doing this for many, many years. But for people like that just are selling their home, I definitely stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. Taking professional pictures is well worth the money, hands down. It will just make your house look good. It'll make it look professional. It'll be clean and crisp photos when they're online, because people are going to get on these at night, and they're going to be scrolling through, and they're going to decide by those photos whether they're going to even look at your house or not look at your house. And I know this is funny, this is crazy, but people will go on there and not even looking for houses, and they will see a house and they'll decide to buy a house just by those photos. Oh my gosh, I wanted a pool. Oh my gosh, this has 6 bedrooms. Oh my goodness, look at that master closet. People buy houses on social medias all the time just by looking at them. So if you think that you don't have good photos, that's a lie. The photos are the thing that are going to sell your home. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. Okay, take those professional pictures if you're thinking about selling your house. Okay, that gets me down to this, guys. This is the big kicker here. Depersonalizing and decluttering. You're going to hear this. I know everybody talks about this. Every realtor you're going to get in your house, they're going to say depersonalize, declutter, take out. They say to take out of 1/3 of everything in your house. So every single room, you need to take 1/3 of everything out of your home. And that is true. When I go through people's homes, when I'm staging them, when Jason and I are looking at them, I think it was last week we went through one home, and they're wanting to sell it. It was a rental home. They had a renter there, and they're wanting to really sell it. They're just wanting to get it on the market, and they're wanting to be done with it. The biggest thing that I can say is that when you're taking pictures don't lie, first off. When you're looking for your social medias, they don't lie. So you have got to make sure that those pictures look good. So when you're decluttering and depersonalizing is not just family photos, okay? It means that you have lived in that house, or you have lived in your home, or the people that are living there, whether it's a rental or it's your grandmother's home, your aunt's house, whoever you're trying to sell, you live in that home. You don't realize that you go by every time you come home, you put the things on the counter, there's stacks of bills, there's all those things. You are, what am I trying to say? You are depersonalized it from all those things that you don't even realize you're not even seeing. Does that make sense? If you're in my elegant community, which I know, Barbara, you are, I talk about this. Sometimes we live in our homes and we don't even realize what we have in our homes. We just need a fresh eye to come in there and tell us what we've got going on. But we just are so used to just going in there and doing our thing and living in our homes that we don't depersonalize. So that's what they're talking about. Yes, they are talking a little bit about personalized photos and things like that, but they're more talking about that, the stacks of bills and your tennis shoes laying right by the front door. And they're talking about, maybe if you have, let's say, stacks and stacks of magazines and things like that, things that you want to make sure that are not in the photos. You want to really make those photos look like somebody wants to live there. And I think it's so important to remember, guys, that when you're selling your home, the number one thing you want people to do, is what? Fall in love with your home. And it's really funny to me because women, they say, anywhere you read, if you read magazines, you read articles or anything, women fall in love with the house in 10 seconds when they get there from the very front door. Isn't that funny? 10 seconds. So what that tells me, as soon as you pull into the driveway, everything needs to be nice and pretty and tidy. The paint colors, the landscaping, the lawn being mowed, all those things. If it's wintertime, you need to make sure that everything's kind of clean and clear. All those things need to make a big difference, because 10 seconds from a woman stepping inside the home. So then you get to the entryway. You're talking about smells and all those things. You will fall in love with the house. So you have to make sure that you don't have all your things there that you don't want anybody to see. So depersonalizing it means decluttering it, means turn on the lamps, make it really bright and cheery and all the things. So that is so important, because when you see that, I guess that pair of underwear in the living room that wasn't supposed to be in the living room which we all live in our houses, I understand completely. You gotta get those. You gotta clean your house every single time you leave it. You gotta make sure that that's depersonalized and basically just taking yourself out, because only thing that they can fixate on are the things that are wrong. That which leads me to the next thing. Lots of people ask me all the time, Tabitha, what sells a house is your kitchens and your bathrooms. So do we go into that? And it's really hard to say that on a Facebook Live, and it's all completely different for each individual person. It depends on how much money you owe on the house and things like that, whether you should go into big budget things, like renovating a kitchen or renovating a bathroom. It all depends on the individual person, if that makes sense. So what I say this, and I can only stress this enough, is that when buyers are coming into your home to give you prime price, what would you pay for it? I really think that that's one reason that having a stager come into your house, or a fresh set of eyes, or a realtor is really good, because it's so important to see once somebody picks up on, let's just say, when you start coming up and there's, the paint is chipped on the front door, and then they come in and then they see a little, the floors are kind of dirty and they're kind of aged and they're cracked and things like that on the hardwood floors, things like that. What's going to happen in that buyers is they're going to start adding it up. Things are going to start looking. They're going to start looking for things that are bad in your home. And guess what? The very first thing they're going to do is they're going to start wanting things to go off, and they're going to want you to price. They're going to want the price to go down. So the first thing that I want to say is just try to make everything as seamless as possible. Make everything as clean as possible. If the paint looks like it's a little chipped, paint that room, get it painted. If it looks a little dirty, get it cleaned up. If you can make all those things look as seamless as possible, if you can make somebody fall in love with their house, then it's perfect. So what I say is, once again, take a picture. Take a picture of your house before you ever list it and see if you can fall in love with it. If it looks really inviting and warm and all those things to you, then it's going to look warm and inviting to your buyer, which gives you more money in your pocket. So that's super important to remember those things. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. And that's what they're talking about, is decluttering and depersonalizing your house, is getting rid of those things. Kind of like going in, cleaning your closets. Nobody wants to open a closet door, which I have them. I know, I'm not saying that, like your pantry, things like that, and things start falling out at you. There's nothing worse than that when you're showing a house for your realtor and things start falling out at you. Nobody wants that, because people are like, oh, they don't have enough storage. That's immediately what they think. So you would definitely want to cut that all down and take those and get a storage unit or whatever you need to do to be able to put that stuff away. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense for all of you. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next thing. If you have any other questions about that decluttering and depersonalizing, let me know below, okay? So we're gonna go to the next thing. Clean for showings. I see this all the time. Once you finally get the buyer in there, you've got it all pretty. You've got the pictures going, you've got them in there, you've got the paint going, they're loving your house, and then they come to the house and it doesn't look anything like the pictures. Wah, wah, wah. They're going to be fully disappointed. They're going to just be like, this doesn't look like anything that showed online. I've heard this many times. You definitely want to keep the house exactly the way you posted it, okay? Does that make sense? You have to keep up with that. It's almost like you don't live in your home when you're trying to sell it, which is really bad, and I know a lot of people are like, that's such a bummer, and it is a bummer, but it'll give you more money for your home. So that is super important. Every time somebody's coming in to see or show your house, clean it up, turn the lights on, light those candles, pick all the underwear up off the floor, pick up all the socks up off the floor, do all that stuff, and you will be shocked how fast your house sells, okay? No matter what the price range is. This is all for every single person, no matter what your price range you're asking for. These are tips for everybody. Okay, I'm gonna give you one other advice here. It's a big one. I see this and I go into all kinds of homes, guys. And people ask me all the time, but there's nothing worse than bad smells. One time, I gotta tell you this. One time I went into this house and the owner said, hey, I gotta go to work. I just want you to look at it. Tell me, Tabitha, what I need to do. Give me a list of everything that I need to do. And I was like, okay, I can totally do that. And she said, she gave me the code and everything to get in. So I got in there and I opened the door and immediately this smell came out at me and I was like, what is that? Oh, it was so horrible. I thought, oh my gosh, is there a dead body in here? What is that smell? Well, finally I realized that it was something in the trash can. It was just something in that trash can that was just making the whole house smell up. And finally she texted me and said, hey, we had fish last night and I forgot to take out the trash. I was like, that's it. That was the smell. I thought something had died in there. I thought they were like carrying dead bodies in the basement. I had no idea what was going on. But nothing worse than having a bad smelling house when you're trying to sell it. So make sure, and there's all kinds of tips I can give you on how to make sure your house smells good, but light the candles. Make sure you're not cooking fish or doing that right before somebody comes. Make sure that the house smells really good. Eliminate, I know it's really hard when you're selling your home, but make sure that you're just, your pets are really fresh and they're always groomed, or maybe even try to give those to grandparents or whatever you need to do, because not everybody's, pet friendly and things like that. Just try to eliminate the things that you possibly can. That's all I'm trying to say. And I know that we all work and we all have those things. It's just eliminate as much possible. Have your house smelling well. That's so much better. So that is one of the tips I always say. It's so much easier to sell your house when it smells yummy and people are like, oh my gosh, I really want to be here. I am telling you the truth. When Jason and I will sell our houses, it's like people just want to come in and hang out, and that's what you want. That's the atmosphere that you want to make. That's the atmosphere that you want to do, and you want to bring people in, and they literally don't want to leave. So that's what you want them to do. You want them to be able to not ever want to leave, and that's the atmosphere, and smelling good is one of those, okay? Always be ready to have your house showing, which we went over that many times, just the smells and how it looks and how it presents itself. And some of the times, I'll give you a couple different hints. Just freshen up the front mat, like the welcome mat at the front door. Sometimes it's just those little bitty things that just make the house look so fresh and welcoming. Just the wreath on the front door. Make sure that you change that out for every season. That just makes women just feel inviting, and men. I just always love to see some fresh flowers somewhere. Just that pop of just happiness. And make sure that the drapes are all open and not have it dark and dingy in there. Those are things that really invite people into your home and make them really want to see more. Okay, so definitely always be show ready when you're ready. Add special touches. I love adding special touches. People, you want these people to fall in love with your homes. So, you know, it's really important. People ask me this all the time, Tabitha, your houses sell really super fast. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to make this picture. You're giving them this illusion of a storybook. You're wanting to picture themselves in that house. And it is decorating. There is a portion of this as decorating. So comes to the last two things is home staging. And we do tons of that. I do tons of that. And people are like, oh my gosh, you know you've done your job really well. When people, once you get done staging the house, they're like, I don't want to leave. The house, I didn't know the house had this much potential. So that is truly important. You really want people to come in and they just don't want to leave the house. That's so important. And there's really important things to do with that. I mean, you know, set lighting, set the mood in the house. You know, make everything bright. If it's in the evening time when people are off and they're looking at the house and they're showing it, you flip on all those lamps. Make sure that there's really distributed lights and lamps on in the bedroom, in the hallway. Turn every lamp on in that house. You want it to be shining brightly. And make sure that everything's fluffed up. All your beds are made. Everything's picked up off the floor. You know, make sure that the bathroom looks clean. All those things just seem so much more inviting than when they're not. I mean, people, you just really want to envision yourself there. And like I said, take pictures because pictures don't lie. And they really do tell a story. And there's been many times when we've sold a home and people will say, I just keep looking at the pictures and looking and looking and looking, and they're just so beautiful. I just can't imagine not living here. So you really want the people to fall in love with your house. And you know what? You just might just have multiple offers, which happens a lot. I have to tell you right before I get off this that one lady, her and her husband had lived in their house for 30 some years, and they called me, this was in the spring, and they called me and they said, Tabitha, we're wanting to sell our home, and we just don't know what to do with it. We raised our children here and they're all grown and we need your help. So I went in and I literally spent like maybe 2 or 3 hours with them going through the whole entire house. There was 3 levels. And I told them to neutralize the whole house, pretty much paint it all one color, declutter everything. You know, there was some older furniture in there. I said, you know, pack it up if you're taking it with you, sell it, whatever you're doing, and do all these things. And, you know, I went through the whole room, you know, don't renovate the kitchen, don't renovate the bathrooms, just freshen them up, do the things that we did. And they were like, oh, are you sure this is going to happen? And I'm like, I'm telling you, just do these things and see what happens. Well, they decided after they did this, after they did all these things, they were like, oh my gosh, we can't imagine. You know, they called me back and they said, come in here and tell me what we need to do here. So they bought some new living room furniture and some different things. And I came in and helped them personalize it here and there. So then they called me and they were like, we didn't realize our house could look this good. And I'm like, yeah, it can. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of money and a little bit of effort, a lot of effort if you're going to do it on your own. So when they got it done, they were like, what do you think about us selling, especially with this hot of a market? What do you think us selling it on our own? And I said, I mean, it's not going to hurt. The worst thing you could do is just say, no, it isn't going to work. And so they were like, well, what do you think? And I said, well, let's try it. I said, Jason and I always have this thing. We're going to give ourselves, if we're going to sell it on our own, we give ourselves so much time. And then if not, get a realtor. I mean, you want it on that MLS, and which goes out to everybody. So they did, and it was a substantial house. The house was, I think, close to, I think it was like 650. I think with 650,000. And so she called me and she said, well, we're going to give ourselves a week. And I said, okay, I'm excited. Let me know. Keep me posted. They put it on the market and they sold it in 3 days. 3 days. She put it on her Facebook and he put it on his Facebook and their social medias. I don't know about their kids who shared it. There was plenty of shares. They sold it in 3 days. I tell you all this because it can happen. You can totally do that. If it's priced right, everything's good. And they thought they were going to have to change out all the carpets. They thought they were going to have to do all this stuff, and they didn't. They totally did not have to do all that. They had them cleaned. They did all those things, and they hadn't updated all the things that they thought that they were going to have to get that price. So I think this is where I'm coming down to this. It's worth the money to have a stager, somebody like me, to come in and look at it and say, this is what I would do. So if you're just not sure what to do to your house before you put it on the market, pay somebody like me to come in and say, hey, I would do this, this, and this, and this, and this. it's totally worth that money. You'll get that money back fourfold. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. I see you were all on here. Hello, everybody, and thank you guys, and share this with everybody that is selling their home or thinking about selling your home, with your friends and your family. And I hope this was super helpful. If I can answer any other questions, let me know down below. And I hope this was helpful for you guys. So thank you guys so much for being on here for Tuesday Talks with Tabitha. I just thought I would get on here and answer some of these questions for you guys, because I've had tons of calls and tons of different people texting me and doing all the things, asking me these questions. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know below and I'll try to answer them. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Bye-bye.